So we've got Kat Gerrish, who is a PGA professional and the founder and head pro at Cottage Golf. Yeah, you have to get to know me pretty closely here,
Right.
Kat. So she just came off the stage a little while ago because, like I said, this is Women's Day here at the Portland Golf Show. And I met Kat yesterday, and she is lively. I'll put it that way. Lively.
Thank you.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is a busy day.
This is a busy day.
Whew.
Okay. We're going to talk about your PGA professional status here in a minute, but I also want to talk about Cottage Golf. Some smart aleck would say, some radio guy would say, is that a cottage industry? But it's
A
little bit,
Yeah.
but it's growing. And tell us the premise of Cottage Golf. I found it fascinating when we talked this morning.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about the stats that I shared on the stage today. And every year the National Golf Foundation comes out with their numbers.
Yeah.
And the number that we're hearing a lot right now is that 28%, which is female participation on golf courses. But that's like 30%.
Yeah.
And last time I was on a golf course, 1 out of 3 people was not a woman. And so I dug a little deeper, and there's another number that they don't lead with, and that's tee times booked by women. And that's 14.5%. So even though there's more of us playing, we're not playing. Like, we're not taking up the tee times. And so that's really what I want to change. And when I started this a few years ago, I was thinking to myself, what if I started a business that flipped the script on those numbers and changed those stats? So what if the studio was 80% women? What if the staff was 100% professional females? Like, would women come? Like, if you build it.
Yeah. Field of Dreams,
So,
sort of.
It started 4 years ago in a little test studio and have been flooded with lessons.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good
it's been great.
I went through your booth. It was probably, you might see me down on your couch taking a nap this afternoon.
I know it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
Yeah.
Like that. And it's the only place in here that has a couch.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
Yeah, you're probably very popular.
Yeah, it's the lounge, the cottage lounge.
The cottage
Yeah.
lounge.
Uh-huh.
When somebody calls to book a lesson and they've never been there before, but through word of mouth or whatever, they heard about you and you come in and what is their first experience like?
Well, first of all, it feels more like a spa when you walk in instead of a golf facility, and you can see that on the show floor. It feels different than everything else. Like, people come around the corner and they're like, "Oh, what is this lovely?" So there's plants and there's couches and there's a rug and there's there's throw pillows and it's well decorated. And so when you walk into Cottage Golf, it definitely feels like you're somewhere different than a golf facility. So there's flowers. We have, wine and bubbly water for people, and there's music, and there's wallpaper in the bathroom. And so it's really beautiful. It's immediately disarming. So, and then it's also private.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to walk down like a whole range full of dudes swinging 110 miles an hour to get to your little lesson and be like, "Oh, where am I?" So
that's when they want to go clear to the end of the range.
Yeah.
And hide out.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So they have the whole space to themselves. They're with me or Katya, my assistant pro. And we just immediately start to get to know them. And so instead of just going straight into crisp, pure 7-irons, we're getting to know them, what their goals are, what their why is for getting into golf. Because it's different. A lot of women are like, "I just retired. I'm newly widowed. My kids just left and I need a hobby. I need to find community." And so we're kind of getting to the heart of like what they want out of golf, because golf has so much to offer.
What would be the percentage in your thumbnail calculation, but from people that walk in that want to do it for a hobby versus just a pure social aspect versus something that they really want to pursue and, try to get good at enough to play with their peers, if you will?
I mean, it's kind of all of the above.
Yeah.
It's well, let's say it's half and half hobby versus social, but I think those go hand in hand too.
Right.
So I need a hobby, I need community, I want to challenge myself, and then take it from there. Sky's the limit.
Do they get hooked right away?
Everyone comes back.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's got to be an aha moment
Yeah.
or an old, you fill in your own expletive moment in there.
Yeah.
When I should have done this a long time ago.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't as scary as I thought it was.
Yeah.
This is great. Yeah. And, you know, in our studio, I call our coaching high EQ coaching, emotional intelligence. We're also very high IQ. Like we have a TrackMan simulator. So we're like top of the market when it comes to
Mhm.
technology. And what I like about that is that we can kind of tailor the coaching to each individual student's learning style. Some people are visual, some people are audio, some people want to feel it themselves. Someone want to see me swing.
Right.
So we can do any of it. We can put all the data up on the TrackMan. We can take it all away. We can put the video up. If people don't want to see themselves, we can put the video down. So we can, every lesson is kind of tailored to the person.
That's a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Did you think it was going to be this way when you started, or were you just hoping?
You know, I definitely saw a need for it. I have a business and marketing background, and so I knew I had the business acumen to do it. What I didn't know, I would be such a good golf coach. I was a good player, but I didn't know if it would translate over to being able to
Sure.
explain it to people. And I've had a lot of fun doing that. It seems to be effective. So
Let's talk about your PGA role and status. Did you want to be did you have tour aspirations? That's a common question for everybody.
yeah, well, that's a common question for men.
Yeah.
It's not as common for women.
I never
Yeah.
did. I never did.
I never did. I was never good enough. I would have loved to.
Yeah.
No, I never put that much emphasis into it. I might say I would want to, but then I was going to go hiking and I was on the soccer team and I was doing this. And so
Yeah.
I never focused enough.
Let's go get a beer and a pizza, type of,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm here for the après golf.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm a great player. I've won some amateur events and, back before I turned pro. So no, I was never tour aspirational. I played it in college at Santa Clara, had a fun time down there.
Well, who wouldn't?
It was, sunny all the time.
Yeah. Don't open the
Yeah.
doors here. You might,
Yeah, I know.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's a tough deal. But what possessed you to go? Because you have to make a conscious decision to go, do
Onto
the
the tour,
PGA
yeah.
stuff and take the test and get the score and all that jazz. And then there's sometimes, I think this is maybe a little old style instead of currently. But then even if you did that, you had to go get an assistant pro job somewhere. You had to kind of work up to things like that.
That's interesting. So when I started doing the research of how to do this, I had this idea and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. How do I do it? Well, okay, so I needed to be working at a PGA licensed facility.
Right.
So I made myself a PGA licensed facility. And in order to be a PGA licensed facility, I had to have my contractor, lined up, showed that I was paying someone to build it, which I was. Have my TrackMan purchased, which was purchased. And so I had to, fill this thing out, and I had to have a website and a name and a social media presence.
You had to check all the boxes.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I need a name. What am I going to call myself? And so the building the building that we're in is pretty unique. It's the old Beaverton bakery, if you're from around here.
Yeah.
And one of the building where the studio actually is right now is in a Queen Anne Victoria from 1887. It's a cottage. So I was like, how about Cottage Golf?
There you go. It's
So
that
I
marketing prowess of yours.
So I just named it, thinking I would change the name eventually, and I haven't. But it works because it's also kind of that cottage industry. Anyway, so I had to make myself a cottage or a PGA licensed facility. So that was number one. Then I had to pass a background test, and I did that. And then you just sign up to play the PAT. So I did that. And I just kind of didn't look back. I do miss playing in my amateur events because there isn't really a venue for me to compete with the people I want to compete with because I'm not a tour player. And so the events that I'm now allowed to play in are the Oregon chapter pro-ams, which are super fun. I love it. But it's, the guys, it's a bunch of guys. And so, I'm not going to win very many of them. I could, I suppose, if I practice a little bit, but it's just different, and it doesn't quite mean as much as it used to mean to me to play in the amateur women's events. And so it's a little bittersweet because there's a lot of tournaments that I wish I could still play in.
Okay. How can people find out more?
Oh, yes. Well,
here's the pitch. Go.
Okay, cottagegolfstudio.com. And that is our website. You can find all kinds of events on our events calendar. And there's a whole menu of lessons you can choose from. We have group lessons, individual lessons, drop-in clinics. We are starting yoga for golfers on select Saturday mornings in the studio, which is going to be great. And then socials, Instagram is Cottage Golf. It's either Cottage Golf or Cottage Golf Studio on any of the socials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kat, it is a pleasure to meet you.